Time for another Oreo video. Today we're doing Oreo Thins Salted Caramel. I know we promised the third in the trilogy of Monster Hydrate, but some idiot took out the power pole last night up the road, and we didn't have any power, so we're filming this at what, like 7:15 in the morning?
Yeah, pretty much.
We've both been up all night, and so we're going to film this, and he's going to bed. Not a good time for an energy drink.
No, it's not.
So instead, we're calling an audible and going with the Oreo Thins Salted Caramel. Are you pumped about this product?
Yeah.
Say it. Say I'm pumped.
I'm pumped.
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 Hashtag pumped. I don't really have much to say about this. Oh, wow. I don't know. They look like Ritz crackers. We've had Oreo Thins before. I just don't remember what the product was. I think we just had Oreo Thins when they first came out. Can you get them out, buddy?
They're a little hard.
That's what she said. Did you get all three?
That's a good idea.
There's three. Since it's thin, I'm just going to go ahead and do a whole cookie on bite one. Bite one. Bite two begs the important question. Will we be able to get the cream out? You thought I'd forgotten.
Are you sure we're going to apply this to the minis?
Why not? Quit stalling.
Oh, okay.
We'll get this cream off this cookie if it kills me. There we go. I figured out the method. You may have to use the other cookie to bulldoze it. Oh.
Nah. Gentle. It's good enough.
Oreo thin cream. For the third and final bite, or I guess third and final cookie if you will, I'm actually going to dip this one in a little milk. I haven't touched the milk. Would you like to include yourself in this before I go on?
Nah,
before I drink it?
I'm good.
All right, then. Bite three. Before we give the grade, we have a packed weekend of videos, whether he knows it or not. Sunday night's live video is going to be an extravaganza. We have a box of food from around the world. We're going to do a food challenge that I saw Reckless Eating do this week that I think we can do.
What's that?
I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a mystery challenge. But let me just say, I feel it was easy enough that one of us could do it. And then, as we're doing the food challenge from around the world, we're going to try grass soda. And then only to be topped by
Dirt soda.
Dirt soda. You saw it here first. Friend of the show, Shannon. He picked those out especially for us. Now, Oreo Thins Salted Caramel. What grade do you give it out of 100?
Like a 79. They're alright. They're not like that great, but they're not that bad either.
Did you get the salted caramel flavor?
Yeah. So they accomplished that, at least.
But you're not a fan of the salted caramel flavor.
I'm not impressed. Not impressed.
For about a week now, with every product we've reviewed, you've been lower. And that trend's going to continue. You went 79. I'm going to go like 86. I really like the flavor on these. And you know, for a fat man, I can eat 4 cookies and only hit 150 calories. 85 and a 79. It's worth at least a try. The thin, I don't know, the thin Oreo to me does not resemble an Oreo. Just something about how thin that cookie is just kind of takes it like off in another direction. If you blindfolded me and had me try it, I would never think Oreo.
I saw something moved in there. She's making a lot of ruckus in there. A lot of tumult.
I don't know how much of that's going to stay in. My cat broke my concentration as I was, being very philosophical about the Oreo Thin. But let's just say it doesn't taste the same. I don't like it the same as an Oreo, but for me, this is a top-of-the-line Oreo Thin. I'll be keeping these.
All right.
Since you weren't enthused. You know, there was one other thing we promised before we go, and it's not you guys' fault that Mr. Jerko hit the power line, so we're going to follow through with the Buddy Holly thing I was going to tell you about. Now, we talked about the Big Bopper. He was in a plane wreck. His son dug him up 50 years later. He was still fresh. That was the first time his son had ever seen him. They never walked the earth together. That was a story. The next story, Ritchie Valens on the same plane in 1958. He saw a plane wreck take out the playground he was supposed to be on that day, perhaps with his best friend on it. Both of those stories were pretty damn good. Here's the third story. There's 4 people on the plane, and here's the third story of why those fools should have never gotten on that plane. 1958, and this is on record. The guy's name is Joe Meek. I'm reading it so I get it correct. You can Google this. In 1958, Joe Meek is reading tarot cards. Now, you and me talked about this.
We did.
I don't understand how he was doing it, but he had another person there, and he was doing automatic writing based on the cards he was turning. Automatic writing is when spirits or whatever comes into your body and you don't know what you're writing, for those of you that don't know. So as he's turning the cards, he's doing like one letter at a time or just pieces of letters. He gets done, and he turns over the paper and looks at it, and the message on the paper is, Buddy Holly dies February 3rd. Now, this is in 1958. Early in 1958. It's like, I don't know, January. This guy moves heaven and earth. He calls the record company. He calls everybody. And he wasn't some nut. He was a British recording engineer. He had, like, people that knew him in the music industry. He calls everybody he can. Well, February 3rd, 1958 comes and goes. Buddy Holly's fine. This guy's still so convinced of the message that Buddy Holly comes to England later that year. I don't know. You can look this up, like March or April, but it's past February 3rd. This guy still takes down the time to hunt down Buddy Holly and personally hand him the piece of paper with the automatic writing.
Wow.
Buddy Holly went on record. He was talking, there's an interview, I saw it on YouTube, it's creepy, where he's talking about his crazy trip to Britain and how he had all these things, and a guy even handed him a piece of paper saying he was going to die on February 3rd, which is insane. Buddy Holly swore to this guy that he would always take it easy on February 3rd. Well, the very next year, February 3rd, 1959, Buddy Holly gets on that plane an hour past midnight. 4 minutes later, he's dead. Boom.
Bang.
To top that off, on top of that, Buddy Holly and his wife, both on the night before he left for the tour, both woke up at the same time with the dream that he had died in a plane wreck.
Jesus.
So there's Buddy Holly. Now, don't you think some of these guys on the way to the airport should have maybe talked some...
Yeah.
Well, the Big Bopper didn't have any way to know. His story would be like, I'm going to be dug up in 50 years. So that would have... But maybe Buddy Holly and Ritchie Valens should have had a conversation about planes before getting on the plane.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
So who wins? The guy that predicted Buddy Holly's death? Ritchie Valens having a plane fall into his playground when he's at a funeral? Or the Big Bopper who just was dug up 50 years later and his son saw him? Who had the better story?
Who had the better story?
Yeah, which one of these three stories was better?
Probably Ritchie Valens, I'd say.
I'm leaning towards Buddy Holly. You got the occult. You got a guy giving a warning of his death, like a date. You got the fact that Buddy Holly didn't get into the plane till minutes after midnight so he could hit February 3rd. And the fact that him and his wife both had a dream that he was going to die in a plane wreck.
That's a good point. Dude's
name was Joe Meek. You can look this up. I'm not making it up. Now, of course, through the sands of time, who knows? But what really sold me on it, besides reading the article, was you can find the interview with Buddy Holly where he talks about it before he dies. That's just creepy as hell. So there you go. I have now told you the story of Buddy Holly. We will never, ever, ever again discuss a plane wreck full of people that most of you guys have never heard of that happened 58 years ago. We're now done with it. We put the day the music died over here.
All right.
We put it on the shelf of shit you don't see.
It's behind us now.
So next week, I expect you to come up with a bunch of dead rocker stories.
Rocker? I got nothing.
Got nothing?
Can't think of anything. I don't know if I can top that. That's a pretty wild story.
I've got a pretty good one about the Allman Brothers, but that's for another day. And I'm not even an Allman Brothers fan, but the beheading.
Is anybody an Allman Brothers fan?
They sold millions of albums, millions.
Cool. I've never heard of them until
I talked to you about the Allman Brothers. That's a shame. Somebody out there educate the boy. I never was that big a fan either. Midnight Rider, that was the jam from the Allman Brothers.
Never heard of it.
Never heard the Midnight Rider?
Nope.
All right, we're going to go because I'm going to play the Midnight Rider for him. And then he'll say, I hate it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on all social media, Mr. Happy0121. Until next time.
Stay vigilant.
We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll do the Gatorade water. And then I have a secret menu item for Sunday to prepare people for the hour and 15-minute live stream.
All right.
You going to bed?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired.
I'm going walking.